gonna be tying I call it the Hair Straight Back Damsel. It's one of my patterns. And I'll tell you, I have it in my box for a reason. It's a go-to pattern and it works. And we're gonna get started on it now. Put my cheaters on here. So the hook I'm using is a Tojan, and it's a size 8 curved nymph hook. I also really like is Daiichi 1710, another very good hook, and they're pretty well matched on the quality and the thickness of the wire for tying some heavy duty flies, catching some big fish. This one I fish a lot. It's a damsel pattern, and we're gonna start going here. And I don't get right behind the eye. I stay about 2 eyelids back, and I'll make a little bump in the front. And then I'll make another one right behind it, just so that the eyes have a saddle to sit in. That's the purpose of it. Leave that tag for a bit. So now I use Maxima 25-pound, and it's a just the fish line monofilament, I would say. So I have some pieces I cut and some eyes made, but what you have to do to make these is you got to be real careful with tying this. So this is a technique for making eyes with monofilament, okay? So we're going to take a pair of hackle pliers. Now I pre-cut these, as you can see, and what it is, they're about 1.5 inches to 1.25 inches long in inches. So centimeters, figure it out. Not big on the metric. So take a lighter, and you see how I got that split? And when you start this, you put a little flame on the side of your
Down this,
down. How's that?
Right down that part.
There? Okay.
Up just a little bit farther. Right there.
Okay. So now when we start this, you start it and you let it burn. You'll see it start itself. Watch it like, see that little flame?
Yeah.
And you got to be pretty accurate this time. You're gonna toss it around a little bit. Then we'll do the other side just to get it even. How's that looking? See how I blew that out? Now, I'm gonna touch it a little bit on this side, just freshen it up. Take your time, but always hit the side of the flame. Don't go right on top or you'll burn. And when you have one land on it, you'll know about it.
Yeah.
That one took off on me. We gotta start another one.
One eye fly.
Oh, just the eyes. Sometimes when you're trying to twist it, it'll fall off on you. But it's 25-pound test monofilament. I use the Maxima. I like it because of the color I get out of the eye. And believe it or not, you'd be surprised how well these eyes look when you get them on the fly. And for some reason, and anybody will tell you, fish love eyes. There's something looking back at them. And they do. But you got to let that cool a bit as you're doing it. Okay. A little bit. I don't want to get carried away this time. That's looking pretty good there. And if you touch it just a little bit, you'll get a darker kind of a eye to it. There you go. Now we're looking good. And then we're just gonna let them cool. So I got some pre-made. I make up about 10 of them. When I tie a fly, I tie 10. Why is that? Because when you tie 10, your technique gets better. So now we're gonna lash this in. We're just gonna do a crossover on the eye. And then you're gonna come across the other side of it. So we're doing a crisscross. Just to get it in place. And then we're gonna go around each side. And that'll keep it in the saddle, and it'll center itself in that position on top of your buck shank. So now that we're there, doing good. See, looks good. Okay, so we take a little bit of this. You see that?
Yeah,
That's a Wapsi. And this is the Wapsi Fly Tires Z-Man. Okay. Zeman. All right. And I picked this up at Michael and Young's, and I like it because it's got a really narrow brush in this one. And the glue sits inside a little channel. So you don't have it, for crazy glue, it doesn't seize up. And it takes about 15 seconds to hold. So you got a little time with it. But it will seize up. Once it gets there, it gets there. But it works really well, and I like the brush application of this one. So, and I've used a lot of glues, but this is one of my favorite ones for the fly tying. There's also Golf, which I use a lot. And we're going to show you that a little bit later on another body. Now, so I've got this in, and now I'm going to take that tag I had, and all I'm doing is covering the shank of the hook. I never have a bare hook on a fly. Always cover your shank. So we're going to just take this tag and see as I'm going forward with the shank or the bobbin and the thread, I get just to the point where your barb used to be, and we'll just trim the tag off. So how that landed with the thread makes a nice consistent body for your fly. Give it a little bump in the front just for the tail. Right there. There you go. All right. Now we're ready for the tail. We're going to use the marabou, and I like H&H. They have really good marabou. Yeah, you're right. Some packs can be. I always say, if you can buy it from the store, you can look at it. If you find it online, you don't get to look at it; it just gets mailed to you. I take the fluff off and make a nice tail. So we're going to be measuring it to the length of the shank. See that? No longer than that. Okay. And now watch. I'm going to transfer hands. This is what you do in your tying. You're going to use your hands a lot. You're going to be consistently transferring your hands to get the material that you want in position for tying it on. Right? Okay, so now we're going to do a pinch technique. Come down. See that soft loop? Now it's going to go through my thumb and forefinger, and it's going to come up, and I'm going to let it pull through my thumb and forefinger really easy. First one, and then I'll do it again. And I can actually let go of the material and then pinch it again. Tells you you're doing it right. If you can do that, you're doing the pinch technique properly. Get a few in there and then just lash it in. Tie it in, make sure it's tied in properly. Okay. And we'll bring that up without it getting into the eyes. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to use that for the body after. So I'm going to loop that for now. And I'm going to take my hackle pliers, that little eye off there. There you go. Let that sit for a minute because I'm going to tie in a little bit of flash in the tail. All I've done is taken a little bit of the crystal flash that I use. H&H again. See that? All right. And I'm going to tie that in. And we're just using one strand. So all I'm going to do is take it and bend it over halfway approximately. Get a hold of it. under the light conditions. So now we're gonna bring that around. So now we got that in place. And we're gonna come around for the tail. Remember, we got the body there, so we gotta come around that body. Get a hold of this. Once you got a hold of it, it'll tie in nicely for you. Sometimes it can be a little unruly, so just take your time with it. There we go. Once we start, of course, everything wants to get in your way. All right. So all we're doing is bringing that lash on each side of the tail, right? One on this side, and then a little bit on this side. Right? I can let it lash in there. See? Now, as you can see, my tying thread is back to where I started. Always go back to where you started with your tie, and all your materials will also start at that point. So now I've got everything I want in there, except for what? We need some wire for the body. So that's what we're going to use next. And what do they call that? Simplify. Can you see that?
Yeah,
There you go.
tie
And that's 0.2 millimeter. I like it for the color, gold. And it's a really strong wire. Simplify makes good wire. So does UTC. Your preference, whatever is available to you, buy it. There's a couple of shops here in town. We've got Reed's Fly Shop, we got the Fish and Hole, and then we got Canadian Fisher. That's Gary. And Reed's, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so the wire's going in. And I'm gonna get around there and just get it lashed in there real good. I know a few things are gonna get in your way, so you're gonna get used to that. There, got it started right where I want it, right? I want it behind. So now I'm gonna advance my thread now that I got that locked in. Some guys have clips and stuff. I have this little clip here. This device is the original. I've had this device for when I started. So it's a Renzetti. I've had it for the 40 some years now. Tells you how much I've been taking care of my materials. And I actually got some, original Thompson scissors. Okay, so now we're gonna wrap the body. See, I twisted that marabou and make a nice body out of this. Look how it sits in the hackle pliers. Sometimes you get it working for you, sometimes you don't. Tonight it's paying attention. No further than that, because we're gonna tie that in. Don't get too far advanced on your body, okay? You want to be at least halfway up the shank. 5/8. Trim that off. Got lots of marabou, so I'm not going to worry about that. Now, grab your wire, and we're going to go reverse wrap of what you did. See, I'm wrapping forward this way. I'll catch that. Okay, so you get that in there tight. Because you don't want it to get loose now. You've done all that work on that body, right? So now we're going to take the wire and we're going to go reverse wrap. Once around the back, and then spread it out to about, I'd say 3/16 to 1/8 of an inch. Whatever gives you a nice, I don't count because the fish don't count. So you ain't gonna know how many ribs you got on it in. All right, then we're gonna take that and we're gonna helicopter this wire off. Watch this. See that? Didn't have to use my scissors to cut it off. And it leaves you a really nice underbody underneath your thread. Now we can trim the tail of that flash off. And it's the same length as the tail. Boom, done. So there's your body. Now we're gonna come in and we're gonna tie in thorax. Get a little more marabou out here. And as you can see with the bag, I don't cut or open up the bag and pull all the marabou out. I just cut a piece of the corner of the bag out and then I pull out what I need. And then that way your marabou stays in the bag. It's not all over the table in your glue, you know what I'm saying. Trust me, you don't learn this in a day. Get the fluff out of there. Say that 3 times. Okay. Oh, serious. All right, so we're gonna take it, tie it in by the tip. All right. Same way, we're gonna do the pinch technique again. Watch, I'm coming right behind the eyes. Come in, up, boom, got it. Now I'm gonna pull that, watch, I'm gonna pull that in, so we don't have to trim it off, see that? Okay, now, wrap it in. Front of the eyes, behind the eyes a bit. Now get your thread advanced. Front, right there. You need a little room so that you can tie off. Some of this stuff will work with you, sometimes it won't. So I'm hoping it's gonna work for me this time. Grab my hackle pliers here. There, got it. Okay, push that up a little bit. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go once around that side of the eye, once around that side of the eye, and back over the top. Check that out. You see that hair straight back? That's why it's called the hair straight back damsel. So we did a figure 8 around the eyes, right? 1 on each side and then back over the top. Now we're tying it off. Pretty well done the fly. So now you got to trim. This is the part you take your time. Ooh. Without cutting your thread, right? Right. So now we got to finish off that head. What are we making now? We're whip finishing and making a really nice formation for your thread. And see how that's clear of your eye? Okay, so that you don't have glue going in there and you don't have all your material packed up at the eye. And that way you can run yourself a leader in. So when you pull it out of the fly box, by golly, you can tie it on. Right? So it's important to learn that. Now, a lot of guys use, and I don't use it because I'm old school, whip finisher. I don't use a whip finisher for one reason. I don't like the way it gives me the thread. It doesn't make it tight enough for me. So I do it by hand. See that? One over, boom. I got 90 degrees, just like the whip finisher. I grab the thread, I bring it back over, and all I'm doing is doing a manual whip finish. Look at how tight that gets. Then you got a hold of it, hang on to it, grab your butt, put it in there, and then draw it up. And that's going to give you a nice, and you only need 1. You don't need 3 whip finishes on that. See how tight that is? Turned out really nice for me. Now I'm going to trim that thread off and we're done. Boom. All we're going to do there is, well, that looks pretty good. We're going to just add a little glue to that. Turned out nice, right? Yeah. Okay. So this is what I like about this brush. It's really fine. And you can wipe it off. Some guys add the glue to the thread and then whip finish it in. I don't. I just pop it on gently. Don't need a lot. There, done. She's done. That'll dry up. And there you go. That's your hair straight back damsel.